What is going on, everyone? We are back with another review. And in this one, we are reviewing Season 1, Episode 12 of The Twilight Zone. And the episode is called What You Need. Also, please remember, if you check the link in the description below, you'll be able to find a link to the Patreon that allows you to get everything a full week early, including these reviews. A full week. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on with it. So this episode is called What You Need. This is directed by Alvin Ganzer, based on a short story by Lewis Paget. Teleplay was done by Rod Serling. And Van Cleve was the one that composed the episode. This episode released on Christmas, 1959. And yeah. So straight out the gate, just to give you guys a quick rundown. I say quick, but to give you a rundown of what happened in this episode. So we start off in a bar where there's a guy who's just being an absolute twat at the bar. And shortly thereafter, you see a guy walk in, an old man with a suitcase. And he approaches this lady, and he's trying to sell her things. And then she tries to buy a pack of matches, and he's like, no, you know what you need? You need this bottle of cleaner. It'll remove any spot. No problem. And I thought it was like a reference to her being a female, because I was like, well, that's messed up. So then, after that happens, he goes to the bar, and there's a guy that's nicknamed Lefty there. He used to play for the Cubs. According to the story. And as Lefty shows up, or as Lefty and the bartender talk, the old man approaches the bar, and the Lefty guy talks about how, you basically find out that Lefty used to be an accomplished pitcher. His arm went sour, and all he can think about is playing the game. And he wants to experience playing the game some more. And so he's basically telling the guy, the old man, he's like, you know what, there's no way you have what I need, because I need baseball. And he says, you know what you need? You need this ticket. And it's a ticket to some place that I can't remember it now off the top of my head. Which makes me mad, because I'd said it like 2 or 3 times during the episode. Now I can't think of it. So, after that, he looks over at... he gets a call, goes to the back of the bar, gets on the payphone in the back of the bar. And it turns out that one of his old coaches has a little league coaching job or a different coaching job available for him in the place that the ticket was for, which kind of freaked him out. But then, on top of that, he's like, I need a good suit, a good presentable suit to be able to go. And the lady, he's like, this one's got a stain on it. And the lady that had been given the cleaner in the beginning walks up, and she's like, I can take care of it. I've got this stain remover that can remove any stain, no problem. And she cleans the stain up for him, and it just, it disappears. And he's like, oh, thank you. And at this point, the old man disappears. Now, in the bar, while the old man was still there, he happened to look over at the dude that was being a sourpuss at the beginning of the episode. And they kind of stared at each other for a second, and the old man went on about his business. Well, that man finds him outside. And he's like, you're in there helping everybody else. What do I need? And he basically threatens the guy. So the guy reaches over, hands him a pair of scissors. And he's like, I need a pair of scissors. And the guy's like, yeah. He's like, all right. So on his way home, which I called, by the way, he gets into his apartment building, gets on the elevator to go up the elevator, and his scarf gets stuck in the elevator. So he cuts the scarf. And after he cuts the scarf, he realizes the dude was right. So you get a scene later on. The old man returns home, walks in his apartment, and the douchebag is in his apartment. And he's like, all right, you've got a partner now. He's like, so you're going to help me get the things that I need. And the guy's like, okay. He's not really all for it, but... So he's like, so what do I need? Old man hands him an old fountain pen. As he takes the fountain pen, he looks at it and it's leaky and it drips a drop of some, and he gets mad about it. But then he looks down at the paper and realizes that the drop landed on a racehorse. So he puts some money down on this racehorse, and that racehorse wins, and he ends up winning like $250 or something like that. And he wishes it would have been more, but for the time, it's actually a good amount. When he goes to do the trick again, oh, why'd I get all blurry? Why am I blurry? I do apologize. I don't know why I'm so blurry now. Like, it literally happened out of nowhere. There we go. But no, so the pen doesn't work to blot on the paper anymore. It actually is a perfectly fine working pen. So he goes to find the old man and approaches the old man. He's like, "Hey, the pen didn't work like it was supposed to." And the guy's like, "Yeah, everything that I give you is only designed to work once. Like, that's how this goes." Oh, sorry, I just realized I still had the timer going from the last video. That's weird. So he's like, "Yeah, that's everything only works once." And they're outside when he meets him, and he's like getting in the dude's face, and he's like, "So, what do I need?" And he looks inside the suitcase, and the guy reaches in and finds a box, opens the box, and it's a pair of shoes. And he's like, "Oh, I need these shoes? Oh, okay." And he takes them off. He sits on the ground, takes off his shoes, puts on the new shoes, and he's like, "So what am I supposed to do with these? Is just put them on and just walk somewhere? And it's supposed to take me to where I need to be?" And the guy just doesn't kind of say anything. He's like, "Well, tell me." He's like, "Wait a minute, they're too tight. These shoes are too tight. And they've got leather soles. I hate leather soles. They're slippery." And if you go kill the spider, dude. But he's like, if I'm gonna do this, then so he chases the dude down. He starts to come after the dude because the dude wouldn't tell him. Sorry, cat distracted me. Because the dude wouldn't do what he was supposed to, or what he wanted him to do, in terms of telling him what he needs. So then he starts following after the dude, or approaching the dude, slips in some water, and then a car comes out of nowhere and hits him, which I also called. Kills him. And that's when the old man says, "See, that's what I needed, was for you to take those shoes. Because when I looked into your eyes at the bar, I seen that you wanted to kill me, or that you were going to try to kill me." He says, "So that's what I needed, were you to put on these shoes." So the cops show up, and then this other couple comes out of the building that the old man's standing by, and they're like, "What happened here? Did you see what happened?" He's like, "Hit and run." And he's like, "Think I could sell you some shoelaces or some matches?" And the guy's like, "You're crazy, man. Like, why are you trying to sell things this time at night?" He's like, "You know what you need? You need a comb. Here, take it, free of charge." And he hands the comb to the guy. Why is it doing it again? He hands the comb to the guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, thank you." And then he still thinks he's weird. He puts the comb in his pocket, and the old man walks off. And then the two old people walk over to the bar, or walk over to the crime scene, and this guy in the newspaper shows up and is like, "Yeah, can we get your picture?" And they're like, "Yeah." And the lady's like, "Make yourself presentable." And he's like, "Okay." She's like, "No, grab the comb your hair." So he combs his hair, and then they take the picture, and that's when he realizes, oh, the comb. And that's the end of the episode. I really like this episode. This is one of those that have a good ending, but it's a good ending in a messed up way that I think makes sense in a crazy way. And I loved waiting to see what the next thing that somebody needed was going to turn into as far as what it was they were going to end up needing. So it was really cool to see all of that unfold. And again, Rod Serling has had one episode that he's done that I did like, and everything else that I've liked has been somebody else's story. So I get worried that once we get out of this series of stories from Rod Serling, I'm just not going to enjoy them. So that's a worry of mine. But this was a good one. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you adieu. Thank you all for hanging with me, and we'll see you next time. Peace.